So the reason I wanted to chat with you is when I noticed the list of people that were all coming to this event, you had an interesting mode of transportation.
I decided to sail my 40-foot sailboat here and make it a Joyage. That's a term that Karen Lori came up with. And once the boat is bought and paid for, my cost is maintenance and food. So it's very minimal.
Okay.
And I like to, rather than going and staying in expensive marinas, I like to go anchor out. And I like to go to, not backwater, but I look for the experiences of the culture. You know, we're at this beautiful resort. It's like Miami Beach. It's on a big row. But I'm anchored at Isla Mujeres, which is an island 12 kilometers out. It's where the Mexicans go for their vacation. It's 4 miles long, a half a mile wide.
The vlog is called Amplified Life.
Ah, okay.
So a guy who's in a 40-foot sailboat cruising around and showing up at these kind of events to us is clearly living an amplified life. And one of the questions I had for you, because you talked about being on the trading room floor,
Yes.
the full on, how have you changed spiritually, the guy who was doing that to the guy that's able to live the kind of life you're living?
Well, when I was in business, both a trader and a commercial real estate broker, the law of attraction was very easy for me to do because it was business. Coming across Esther's teaching and Jerry's teaching and reconnecting with my feelings 10 years ago, I'm able to begin to manifest personal relationships and events and people. I don't manifest idiots or jerks. I don't manifest stress. I manifested the right and perfect boat. To digress for a second, I found the right and perfect boat specifically, called up the owner, said I was going to come up there and buy it. He called me back a week later and said, I sold the boat, Steve. I was devastated. I mean, I started efforting, looking at other boats. It didn't work out. And then I got a call from my real estate attorney. He said, Steve, you put the lease together, you earned a big commission. I went on the internet, I typed in sailboatlistings.com, and the boat came up. And I go, oh, they must have put it up there by mistake. And I read it, and it said, my wife and I and our 3 teenage daughters and 2 dogs bought this boat in March, and it didn't work out, so we're selling it. I called them up and I said, I'm buying it. So the exact boat, their disaster, their efforting, whatever, I ended up buying the right and perfect boat and got it.
And you put that down to this idea of directing your thought. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but why? Because there's obviously nothing you could have done there. That just happened.
Well, it's what I wanted.
Right.
The timing wasn't right. I didn't effort and try to go a different direction. I just backed away and changed the subject. I focused on my career. And 4 months later, the dream showed up again, the exact same boat. So I'm living my life. I don't plan things. I'm paying very attention to synchronicities because the synchronicities are obviously the
Direction.
direction. You know, you could have a career, you could go to work, you could look for a house, you could do all these things, which you do. To me, I'm depending upon my source to spit out what my dreams were, even though I don't even remember them.
Right. What is your idea of happiness?
My idea of happiness is contentment, and it changes. When I'm an extrovert, and when I moved aboard being by myself, probably all my friends said, you will not like being by yourself. But I am enveloped in my solitude. I've gotten back into reading, my music, the boat, the environment. So my happiness right now is my solitude.
I like
you know.
that. What's maybe a major life lesson that you've learned in the last while?
Well, I'm emotionally come alive, where I was flatlined for years. And I've learned to be quiet. Don't let my babble fill up a void of silence when I'm with somebody, but to just be quiet and let them talk. And I learned so much about them. And I don't have to ask questions. They want to tell you. So I've learned to just sit back, listen to my grandchildren, listen to my children.
Nice.
I find the more time I spend with my children listening, the more they want to have me there. And that's really great.
When and where were you happiest?
Now. I remember my youngest son, he one time said to me, he said, "Dad, the only time you're smiling in a photo is when you're on your boat." And now I smile all the time. My tag here says Smiling Steve Luta.
Right.
Yes.
And you were not, oh, and you're saying in the past there was no smiling.
No, there was no smiling at all. People say smile for the photo. Just kind of,
That's something else,
yeah,
isn't it?
so I'm smiling all the time.
Tell me what it means to live an amplified life.
Living an amplified life is manifesting, observing, living your dreams, having no stress. My contrast in my life is if I try to effort something, something will break on the boat. So I just don't effort. So an amplified life is just going with the flow and being enraptured, is that a word? Enraptured with everything that comes to me. I think I sent you the picture that a friend took of my boat last night. I mean, I'm here, I have friends at partying at Isla Mujeres, on their boats. And I'm sitting here going, my God, I'm in the most wonderful resort, all-inclusive resort with these luxuries, with wonderful people, with Abraham and the workshops, and I wish I was two people because I want to be there too. People say, you live in a wonderful dream life. Yeah, I could, if I could split my life, I could be doing 2 or 3 simultaneously. Yeah, that's what I love.